Thank you for watching Rough Day Gaming. This is Nikki. Today I am reviewing The Park. The premise of this one is very simple. Basically, the character just came out of this amusement park, but her child is now missing his teddy bear, of course. So your job is to go back into the theme park to find this teddy bear. Of course, first she checks out information, which is kind of weird because the guy at information knew her name. I don't like that. And then tells her that her son just ran into the theme park. Okay, that is not cool. Full disclosure, this is the first time that I've played this type of game in years. But I wanted to try it out. I purchased Moons of Madness on Steam, and this was only $10 with a sale after you purchase Moons of Madness. So I thought, okay, let's give both a try and see what they're like. $10. It did take me longer to play this game than most people because I kept getting lost. There's only 4 rides in the park, which is a little disappointing. But with as large as the park is, I would not have been able to get anywhere if it was any larger. So as you can see, there's a lot of clues strewn about the park, and you can ride the rides, which is, I love that part. That's one of the reasons why I wanted more rides, because this is just super cool to me. This ride here, the Swan, was probably the spookiest of all of them, but as you got to ride all of the rides, they gave you more storyline, a little bit more clues to what was going on in the plot. So it's also a little weird because how are you going to find your kid if you're riding a ride? But whatever, it's still fun. This was probably the creepiest. The other ones were just kind of adding to the story. So a lot of the game is just kind of running around. It's not technically a horror. I didn't think of it as a So if you are getting into this and you don't like horror, this is more of a psychological thriller. You're trying to figure out what in the world is going through this mother's mind, this lady's mind. That's the funnest portion of the game for me. Some of it is obviously in the dark, super creepy. As you can see here, we're now in the fun house, which I absolutely loved. This is where quite a few of the jump scares were. But then she switches to where she's in her house, which was kind of interesting to me. How do we go from being in a fun house to inside of her house? But again, there's different clues. The only downside about this portion for me was that you have to go round and round and round and round multiple times looking at the clues. It's the same house. You keep going down the stairs until you hit that part. Once you see Callum, then you'll notice that the graphics change. There's more blood. There's stuff all over the place. Stuff is thrown on the ground. And this isn't even, there's another round that you have to go through before you start seeing the blood. But once you see Callum again, here it is. This is where things start becoming messy. But still, you don't know exactly what's going on. There's so many clues left, yet I have no idea what happened. If you're listening to this or watching this and you figure it out, let me know. Or if you've played the game, let me know. So my overall consensus is that it was $10. It was fun. It definitely was creepy, which I loved, which was a nice change for me. Normally I play MMOs like WoW and Final Fantasy, so this was definitely out of my comfort zone, but not so much that I wanted to quit playing. Moons of Madness may be a little different. Now, coming up is going to be a portion of spoiler. Right here is where that is going to start. If you want to play the game and you don't want to know the end, do not watch any further. This portion is where it gets a little confusing. But again, I'm just going to let it play and I'm going to be quiet for a minute. Okay, yeah. That's basically it. She talks about how she goes back to the park and you never know what exactly happens to Callum or to her. So there's a hint that her mental stability is not as stable as you would hope. Very interesting. And I'm going to leave it at that. It was a fun game. I'm glad that I got it. Disappointed with how it ended, but it was still interesting. And like I said, it would only take most people 2 hours to get through it. It probably took me about 6. I'll get better though as I am playing these games. It was fun. I hope you have a wonderful day with lots of fluff and lots of puppies, and bye-bye.